Hello, hello, hello. What is happening? Early adopters.
Good morning, Fernando.
Dude, what is happening, man? It is like, whew, I'm loving the rain, the cold, the excitement. We got Leland. So excited for you, Leland, and what you're up to. We got Jay, Diana, and a few others on here. It is Mastery Ecosystem Merging Mondays. But Jay, you're in here, brother. What are you thinking about? What are you feeling on this Monday morning?
Hey, Fernando. So I get a question for you.
Sure.
So over the weekend we were having. First off, I love the new screen name, Unblinded Mastery and the Lightning Bolt. Love it.
Thank you.
Secondly, I guess over the weekend we were kind of having a discussion. We were at, and I'm talking a little quiet because some of my family's still sleeping. But over the weekend we were, at a party, just kind of hanging out, and we were talking about reciprocity. And I apologize, my dogs are barking. We were talking about reciprocity, and I guess the conversation around it was, if you do something nice for someone, or if you do something good for someone with the intention of them doing it back, that would be a bad thing. And I guess I had the conversation where I agreed and disagreed at the same time. I said, I don't do things with the intention of doing them to get something good happening back. I do things good because I 100% know that good things will happen back to me. So I feel like it's not with the expectation of, someone being reciprocal, so to speak, but that's actually how it works. Like, you do good things come back. It's not hoping they come back. It's knowing with absolute certainty that they come back. So, I kind of was curious about your thoughts on reciprocity, and, I haven't heard an exact training call yet on reciprocity, but I'm assuming that'll be coming in the future. But that was kind of my take on that. And I was just curious what your take on that was.
Hey, thank you. And for everyone jumping in, just want to start recreating some context. This is Unblinded Sales Mastery, our morning huddle. Jay just asked a fabulous question on reciprocity. Last Wednesday, there was an hour-and-a-half training on the 10 indispensable elements. And I was thinking about it in the shower this morning, that I'd like to make a video on the Facebook group just on that. But to directly answer your question, Jay, on reciprocity, as you mentioned, do you do it expecting things in return? Is that how it is? Do I agree, not agree? Reciprocity is like the law of gravity. It exists, it is there. Like, we don't need to think about it. It happens. We define reciprocity as, doing without expectation and faith, knowing that it's going to get returned to you. So it is like gravity. Is like when you open a door for someone and there's a double door, there's one door and another door in front of you. When you open the door for one person and there's a second door, 9 times out of 10, they'll open it for you as well. And over time, as you continue this practice of reciprocity, it'll happen. It may not happen the first, second, or third time. It is in the faith and believing in the indispensable element that it will be returned to you. And this is like 40 distinctions deep. The secret about reciprocity is that when you become reciprocity, when it becomes one of your hero characteristics, more people want to talk to you, to create content with you, be around you, introduce you to people, because they know that you will acknowledge and validate them, and they will enjoy doing it in the process. The more you do it, the more gravitational pull is brought towards you. So Jay, I hope that answers your question.
Beautiful answer. Thank you.
Very welcome. And for everyone else on the call, we got 1 minute. Welcome to Unblinded Sales Mastery Morning Huddle. We begin at 8:30 promptly. We have early adopters, so thank you for everyone for jumping early. Usually around 8:25, there's people. Is there anyone that has a beautiful question like that, listening, and the language is sharpened in questions on this Ecosystem Merging Mastery Monday? Does anyone have any thoughts on the formula, questions on the formula, or wins that they'd like to share? Ready, go.
Hey, Fernando, it's Michael Crouch.
Hey, Michael. Love your voice, brother. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was actually on reciprocity. I was thinking about this morning. No coincidences. So I think a place, I'm just speaking from my own personal strengths and weaknesses. I find what happens around reciprocity is that I might offer too, and I think a lot of people do this, I might offer too much that it's almost like, if you're not coming from a place of being grounded, I guess, you can wind up offering something that is hard for there to be reciprocity, because you already kind of created too big of an imbalance in a way. Do you kind of hear where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I do. And I just want to do a quick check-in. It's 8:30. Want to check in on Sean? If not, I'll jump in. I hear you. And I want to acknowledge Tiffany, because Tiffany gave me a beautiful access point. Some of you might have heard, some of you have not, about the time Sean Callaghy and I went through nuclear winter, and we both grew from that. One of the things that Tiffany shared with me is that I was giving so much and I hadn't told anyone what I wanted or what my expectations were. And I was providing so much value that it was actually weird. They thought that it was strange that I was providing so much without an expected return. And through conversations with Jared, he highlighted the importance of, yes, give, reciprocity, have faith. It's also okay to acknowledge the things you've accomplished, what you've done and what you're doing for people, as long as it's rooted with love and integrity and there's no expectation in return. So that was a huge access point. Tiffany just gave this to me last week, that yes, it is actually weird to give so much and not have an established agreement, because if you're not in agreement, you're in disagreement. So I hope that opens up a little something for you, Michael. I want to recheck in. Sean, are you with us?
Yeah. Hey, Fernando. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Sean?
Hey, calling from the great Pacific Northwest.
Beautiful.
Up in Vancouver at Whistler. It's 5:30 a.m. here. And this is definitely getting into a bit of state early, because we're up not super late, but pretty late last night. And definitely not feeling the energy the voice is having, but hopefully the voice is having a bit of energy. So how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, Sean. We jumped off the morning huddle with the team, some new members, Brad and Lily, officially part of Unblinded. So much excitement, so much momentum. And we started this morning by some beautiful questions by Jay and Michael regarding reciprocity. So we went through some distinctions, went in depth, and we were just finishing up with a beautiful insight that Tiffany gave me last week, constantly sharpening the language and the listening, and that's where we are. So I want to recreate that for you. We're in reciprocity on this Ecosystem Merging Mastery Monday.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, welcome to Ecosystem Merger and Mastery Monday. Couldn't be more grateful to be here. And I guess as we jump in, we are less than 2 weeks out from January 10, 11, and 12. And we're looking at January 10, 11, and 12, not looking at it. It is the launch of 2020 for our acceleration, our co-creating our dreams and breakthroughs, and crushing fear and distortion. And it's been a lot happening and experiencing a ton. I have been going a tremendous amount of accelerated hours for quite a long time. And being up here in Whistler, I have the blessing and privilege of being here with my children, Tyler, Courtney, and Emma, and my mom and her amazing husband, Jerry, although he made a beautiful diversion to the Orange Bowl with some buddies. It's a tradition to be there today with. So the Orange Bowl in Florida for college football. So just the last 24 hours, it's been Tyler, Courtney, Emma, my mom, and it's been an interesting journey, because I haven't had much block time of being able to think, and we've had a slightly slower pace. So I've had some significant executive creation, decision-making time. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, first of all, if you're new to the huddle, welcome. You're like, hey, what are we doing here each and every day? What we're doing here each and every day at Unblinded Sales Mastery, you're seeing what you don't see, about the fun and excitement of exponentially growing your sales. And there's a formula. There's not a formula, and I am not confused. And what the formula is all about is the ability to take the results that we want, our dreams, and create acceleration at new and different levels. And one of the great challenges I think that exists for folks is the lack of belief that people have in their ability to create the things that they want. And each Mastery Monday, we connect with the idea that our acceleration is not linear. Instead, it's completely exponential. And what that means is that our growth and acceleration goes through 3 phases: the arduous, the momentum, and the abundance. And the arduous phase is we're putting in a disproportionate amount of effort to get the results that we want, or even just putting in a certain amount of effort and getting a linear, meaning we put in X result, X effort, we get X result. It's the same. And for a lot of folks, that eventually becomes very tiring. And particularly in the world of personal development, congratulations for being here, because you're seeking more. But we're also in that a sub note to that point is that we're all in personal development our entire life. Like, personal development is how we learn to walk. It's how we learn to ride a bicycle. It's how we learn to talk. It's how we learn, to add, multiply, subtract, divide. It's how we create our initial friendships and relationships. One of our great opportunities, though, is that for most folks, that learning acceleration, it stops at some juncture. We picture college and or graduate school. For some, we don't make it to college or graduate school, no problem. For some, we do. And we see those things as this conditioned societal base of creating our acceleration. And what is not the traditional educational system, it's not the conditioning scenario for people, is that there's something more. And I think, and I'm certain that even when we begin to seek more in a lot of ways, the more lies in a limited place of some barrier that when we get beyond inspiration and motivation, we begin to think about inspiration, motivation, perhaps even manifesting, and we create these belief structures, and we beautifully, step forward in our heart, and we're looking to create acceleration. And that acceleration, however, remains arduous. It remains something that we don't get to the other side of, and eventually it slowly peters out, and or we jump, concepts. We'll study something about this, and then we'll study something about that, and then this and that, and these different things, and we'll never move away from that arduous X effort equals less than X, or just X in terms of results. As we achieve momentum, if we're staying consistent, and we begin to create exponential acceleration a bit, where we're putting in X effort and we're getting 1.5X result. Maybe we're getting 1.1X result, 1.5X result. We're getting some more than the effort we're putting in. And when we finally achieve abundance is where we begin to put in X effort and we begin to get 2X, 3X, 5X, 10X result. And that's scenarios where we begin to create, let's say, residual income. This is not a multi-level marketing conversation at all. I've been in a residual income state for a long time by being a business owner, not an operator. And we begin to create scalability where we've created effort, we've built ecosystem mergers, they're producing relationships that are accelerated over time, and we're enjoying the abundance that comes from the wisdom we've created, the relationship capital that we've created, and we're simply in that beautiful accelerated state, and we can increase that over time. We can create more and more over time, but the basis for all of this is a formula. And the absence of formula equals randomized results in acceleration. And that's simply not an optimal place where we're guessing, we're picking, we're hoping, we're desiring. And that's the dynamic of networking. It's the dynamic of hey, I'm going to do this because if I can learn just one thing, then something good will happen. And those are beautiful places to be, and they're such positive intention, but they're so limited in comparison to having the formula that creates an assured place of understanding why, if we're seeking to create a relationship and it's not being created, why that's happening. And in that, we have an entire formula and mechanism for doing it. So and you're like, well, I know that, and that's why I'm here. Then the answer would be great. Like, so where is your barriers and access challenges in this ecosystem merger and mastery Monday? Because the reason we dial into this huddle is to ground ourselves in the formula, to create some access to our increasing levels of mastery, because as we rise in the scale of mastery, we create more and more exponential results, and to have the clarity of why we're here. And final, and what I want people to dial into right now is, hey, where's your barrier? Like, what are the challenges for you right now that you're facing in either merging ecosystems, increasing your understanding of the formula, rising in your level of mastery? But last night had an interesting scenario that ended up waking me up. I'm not going to get into the details. And I was, up in the middle of the night for a little while, and I was there. I started listening to a YouTube video by Malcolm Gladwell, interviewing him. And what struck me, and let this land, right? What struck me was he was being interviewed by a journalist from Great Britain. And the journalist was attempting to categorize Malcolm Gladwell's work at lower and lower levels of mastery. I mean, they weren't using that language, but it was like, oh, okay, so, you know, it was thinking Malcolm Gladwell was a more of a left-oriented thinker. It was trying to have Malcolm Gladwell say negative things about Donald Trump. It was trying to have Malcolm Gladwell say positive things about the media. It was trying to have Malcolm Gladwell say negative things about police officers and bring racial dynamics into it. And what was such a beautiful access point, because Malcolm Gladwell is to be somebody who is on such a journey of mastery and example, is Malcolm Gladwell kept saying, like, well, no, it's not that or that. He kept saying that it's not yes or no. It's not that this dynamic is racially motivated, but it's not that it's not racially connected. It's more. It's an and. And the true journey to mastery, everything that we're talking about, is destroying yes or no thinking and its limitations. It's not yes, I'm good with people, or no, I'm not. It's not yes, this is how building an ecosystem works, or no, it doesn't. It's richer than that. It's exponentially richer. It's and. It's having access to the concept. There's a multitude of factors and reasons that we do what we do, that other people do what they do, and it's so much more complex. And in an attempt to simplify what's happening in our world, we tend to blame and judge people. And that blame and judgment, this is not a morality conversation right now. It's a utility concept. And what I mean by utility is our effectiveness, our growth, and our utility, our effectiveness and growth is in eliminating our ego, leaving blame and judgment of others at the door, and creating an assessment tool of realizing why people are effective or not. It's the ability to say, like, Adolf Hitler was obviously, up to a point, an incredible influencer, like monstrous, horrific human being, but the same tools of influence that he was deploying were not that different than the ones that Mother Teresa was deploying or Barack Obama was deploying in effectively going from hello to yes with people. And realizing that our choices in terms of being good or bad and how we use the attainable superpower of human influence, that is morality. But the dynamics of how it works and how we create the acceleration that we want is all the same. And having blame and judgment be lost. You know, I grew up in an environment of beautiful souls. My grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my parents, these are great people, but they're people that were very easy and fast to blame and judge. And we blame and judge often to increase our certainty and how we're feeling about in our own ego. And these are the exact destroyers, creators of fear. They create distortion, and they literally destroy everything we're trying to create in terms of our acceleration, because we're living in a space of making ourselves feel better, but not seeing what we're not seeing. So on this, final point of our check-in or our mastery is, where is our ego? And in terms of Malcolm Gladwell, he clearly didn't agree with Donald Trump, right, in this video, in a whole multitude of ways. But he was also pointing out a lack of acceleration and mastery in terms of the media. And what he was sharing is that he believed the media was massively biased, even though they shared his bias in terms of their perspective about sitting, to the left in terms of Donald Trump. But I was so proud to be a fan of his work because of his amazing degree of intellectual honesty. And in that intellectual honesty, he was also sitting in a space of discussing how his viewpoint, that every day he reevaluates the things that he believes. And each day he realizes that things he believed yesterday, he may not believe the next day. And I was sitting there saying, Malcolm Gladwell is definitely going to be speaking at an Unblinded event in 2020. Like, that's one of my commitments and outcomes. Because even if he may not understand the formula, he's living the formula. And so the final content point for today is, as you're sitting thinking each day, the great opportunity is not to think about what you do know, it's to think about what you don't know. So as I've had the privilege and blessing of being here and skiing and having some downtime and talking to my children about the formula and them helping me see what I'm not seeing about myself and really trying to, you know, check our egos in every direction, I realized how much even blame and judgment bias comes in for me about different things and how I experience and encounter other people, and how as much as I think I'm like so open at such a high level of mastery in my own application of formula, how in spots and places I'm simply not. So on this Mastery Monday, it's like this challenge to join in our ego suppression, our ego subjugation, and realizing a new access to openness in our learning of what we don't know. And I would challenge like Fernando and Adam and Jared and Rob Gill and Darcy and every single person in this huddle who is really working so hard at creating acceleration and being in the formula to look today for what are access points in our process mastery, our self-mastery, our influence mastery, that we can create even more access and openness to acceleration. And I was thinking about January 10, 11, and 12 massively and extensively. And I've been doing immersion weekends like this for 2 decades, not at the mass level we're talking about, but certainly at levels to tons of new people that I've known and creating new access for. And there's a level which is like, yeah, like, of course I know what's going to happen on January 10, 11, and 12. And this is something I have like what I would perceive to be an incredibly high level of mastery over. And as I've been here, I've sat back and challenged myself and everything I think and believe about how to approach things, and the access points I've gained in something I've done hundreds of times, training I've been delivering perhaps thousands of times in pieces and parts over the past 2 decades, and the acceleration, openness, the ideas, the creativity of new ways to teach and connect at a higher and higher level have been mind-blowing. So executive creation, decision-making time, to wrap that, you know, finally into this, is a space where we subjugate our ego, we challenge the things that we know, we increase our level of mastery and our openness, also not diminishing all that we do know, but coming at it with a beginner's mind to create acceleration breakthroughs. And that, my friends, as we come to the final moments of 2020 and our final ecosystem merger and mastery Monday huddle of 2019, that's why we're here. That's what we're doing each day. And each day is not this extensive for those that are new in terms of covering as much territory. Sometimes we're much more, focused on one access point. Sometimes we're more like joking and edifying people. But I wanted to give a final context in 2019 to what this is, as well as a reminder for all of us of where we're coming from. And sometimes for each of us, as we're in the formula and on the huddles and we're creating acceleration, you know, it becomes easy to become certain of where we are and to lose sight of the exponential access to more. So I will share with you as an example of what's possible on this ecosystem merger Monday. I know that for me personally, my access to more mastery, more acceleration, more growth has never been more clear to me, meaning I have never known with greater certainty that no matter where I am sitting today, and I feel, I've created a lot of mastery in the space of human influence in the formula with integrity. I have such massive opportunity for growth, and I have so much more of an opportunity for growth than I have for the terrain I've already covered. So with that said, like, what's present for you? What's an opportunity for growth or a win story that anybody would like to share on this final Mastery Monday phone call of 2019? Who's got something and what's going on out there?
Good morning, Sean. This is Ben Fox.
What the Fox? What's up, Ben Fox?
Woo! Good morning, sir. I have a really beautiful win I need to share. It's just amazing.
Yes. Yeah, what's up, brother?
Well, we've got just so many good people coming together, and there's a woman who has a company, HEG Home Events Group, and she's been on the phone with Jared and Adam and Fernando and myself and Jamila, and her name is Samia Monilia Perez. And I'll tell you, she's heard about what we're doing. And I'm just going to really briefly tell you, she's for the last year and a half been going to Tony Robbins events with crew, providing housing. It's organically grown into a beautiful business. She's had 327 people come and stay with her in these homes, Tony Robbins crew and people going to his events. And she's decided to come out and open more than one of these homes at the Unblinded Mastery event in January 10, 11, and 12 in New Jersey, in Secaucus. And the most incredible thing about this,
Cool.
it's amazing. We're doing a webinar this Wednesday, reaching out to anybody who's ever stayed in one of her homes, and she's going to tell those folks why she's coming on board with us, partnering with us in this event, and hopefully many more to come, because she's loving what we're doing. And I have to tell you one really beautiful thing. She'd heard a story, and the way this all came about was.
And then real quick, let's go 15 more seconds, and then what's her? And I apologize. What's her first name again?
Samia. Yeah, she's probably on the call. Let me just tell you this. I'll bottom line it for you.
Yeah, Samia, thank you so much. That's awesome, exciting ecosystem relationship, and bring it home, brother.
Thank you. This is awesome. She's driving 2 passenger vans from Florida to New Jersey. She's willing to pick up anybody who's blind along the way and wants to come. Finally, she heard about what we're doing, and she put together a house for the blind, needs-based honor system. If you're blind, you want to come to this event, you have a place to stay. And if you live between New Jersey and Florida, she'll pick you up and bring you back. I can't wait to see you there. This is amazing. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Samia.
Tommy and Ben, thank you for sharing that. And that's what this is about, because it's not just about our own growth and acceleration, but it's about massive contribution. And that is a beautiful and phenomenal thing. And by the way, always remembering that even when we're being selfless and contributing massively, there is massive return, because the reason Adam Gugino is here is because of Ben Fox and me thinking I was just contributing purely, and Ben came in and did something unbelievable for this movement and built a relationship with Adam, and encouraged me consistently, if not badgered me and harassed me. Thank you, Ben Fox, for doing so, to meet with Adam in just a time of, when things were super tight, timing, and massive acceleration happened. So Ben, I want to acknowledge you and thank you for that, but also use that as an example possibility for when we're contributing massively the incredible, beautiful blessings that are totally unexpected that end up coming our way regularly and continuously. I'll take one more. Anybody else have anything they want to share in terms of that? Is a fantastic share, Ben. Off the hook. Thank you. Anybody have anything else they want to share? And then if not, we will move it to Jared and begin to bring it home. But don't use that as a discouragement not to not share. Anybody have anything else they want to share? Wins, challenges, questions, anything?
Sean, let's get this into schools. Let's get this into schools next year. Let's get the younger kids to learn this process at a young age. So later on in life, we can all deal with people that have this vision and this the same like-minded.
Yeah,
hey,
Jay, thank you, brother. Yes.
Yes. Hi,
Kelly?
Sean. Hi, Jay. No, this is actually Martha Aguilar. Martha.
Oh my goodness, Martha, I'm sorry. I jumped in and one note too soon. I mean, named that tune voice game. So, hey, Martha, thank you for being here. What's cooking?
Thank you so much. So I want to jump in and mention, because Jay talked about children and bringing this to the kids and the youth and the future. Yamile and Samia is actually going to be providing the home for Yamile and I to bring along the children who won't be able to, they're a little bit younger, parents who are attending the event. They want to drop off their kid. Actually, we'll pick the kid up at the convention center and bring them to the home. And we're going to also, I'm setting up a schedule and all the things that are going to go throughout the day. And we're actually going to obviously show and teach the formula to the children in ways that they could understand it, and exercises and all that fun stuff. So I wanted to mention this in the call.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. I didn't even know that was happening. And that's what it's about, folks. When people like Martha Emilie are doing such beautiful things to contribute, to add, to give value, to love people, it is absolutely unbelievable. So thank you, ladies, so much for doing that. I also want to acknowledge, Jared, coming to you in a second, Jay Abraham, who Jay and I have been communicating consistently, and he is just at such a level of contribution for what we're doing from Unblinded. It is remarkable. The level at which his excitement is through the roof. He is so egoless and so kind and beautiful in his generosity and his sharing and his excitement for everything that's happening here. He's just been truly remarkable. So with that, Jared, what's up, brother?
Ooh,
Yeah,
there we
Jared.
go. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
So
hey, what's
a
up,
lot
Jared?
happens. Lots going on here in the Nerve Center, right, Sean? In your few days.
Oh my
And I want to
God,
honor
it's
everybody.
been
It's
unbelievable.
so we talk about this all the time, but a month in the unblinded world is like 10 years in the normal world. So there's a lot of stuff happening, and I want to honor all of you because
That's not hyperbole. Like that's not
yeah.
hyperbole. Like that's reality. Like if there's I missed one huddle, I feel, and I was sharing, beautiful time with the family, and I was actually physically not feeling well. And I just absolutely needed to reboot and rejuvenate. And having missed Friday's huddle, I feel like I've been like disconnected for like 6 months. So what's up, Jared?
Yeah, so I want to honor all of you, every single one of you that show up every single day. And I have an ask of you to serve you today. And the ask is this. The event is less than 2 weeks away. There's like thousands of tickets in circulation, over 1,000 that have names attached to them, and they'll all have names attached to them by the end of this week. So this is heroic. This is exciting, but I want to make this about each and every one of you. Today or tomorrow, but before the end of the year, I ask, do this for yourself. Do a video and post it in the Unblinded movement, and even consider posting it on your own personal page as well on Facebook, and share your goal and your desire for what you're going to give January 10, 11, 12, and also what you're going to take. Like, let's start thinking about what this will actually mean to you, because we're less than 2 weeks away. And this is the time that we start to prepare ourselves for this immersive experience with up to 2,000 people, where you're going to walk away with the single greatest skill set that every person on the planet needs, whether they're a child and Martha's going to be teaching it to them, or there's someone that's retired, but they're looking for that next chapter, or anything in between, integrity-based human influence. So here's the challenge. Before the end of the year, so between today and tomorrow, record your video based on what you're going to contribute at the immersion, and also what you're going to take from the immersion as well. So we want to make sure you're taking a ton with you. In addition, this is just housekeeping. If you are coming with guests and the Unblinded team does not have the names of those guests, please make it easy on them. They're going to be calling you anyway, but make it easy on the team and give them a call at 863-862-5463 with the name, email, and phone number of the guests. We are printing out badges and all of those fun things. We need that information so that everybody has a name badge.
Yeah,
So,
hey, Jared, one more time.
Yeah.
Phone number one more time.
863. Let's put this in the chat if somebody can do that too. But 863-862-5463. Call with the name, email, and phone number of your guests, and we'll get them officially registered.
Awesome. And for everyone, final. It's time to move in Unblinded from the beautiful giving solely that you've been contributing to a place of massive giving, but also your own massive action to create the more for you, right? The more money, more time, and less time with more magic. Because if you're not creating acceleration for yourself, your energy is going to peter out. You have to win. You have to win. And if you're confused about how to win, ask on the huddle. If you're confused about how to win, post for you personally. Post in the Facebook page. It's time to begin to win for you, to create more for you, and that's what this is about. This is not, we're not here in church, right? We're not here to simply selflessly give. We're here to co-create. We're here to build things. We're here to make beautiful and incredible things happen together. And that's like what winning's about, like a peak performance sports team. Like teams come together to play different positions to create massive acceleration to win. And that's why even in the NFL, there's such a massive disparity. I'm a Jet fan. I can't stand the Patriots and Tom Brady just out of my own like fandom energy. And last night I was talking to my son about like the fact that Tom Brady's won 6 Super Bowls. The Jets haven't won a Super Bowl in my lifetime. They've not won a Super Bowl in my lifetime. The NFL has rules of creating parity. Like the teams that finish last get the best players the next year at a college football with higher draft picks. But somehow, in an unbelievably limited span of time, Tom Brady has won 6 Super Bowls paired with Bill Belichick as the coach. It's remarkable. It is an incredible access point to mastery. They clearly, right, on a level playing field of the greatest athletes in the world, with such narrow disparity in terms of skills, if they can create exponentially more Super Bowl wins just in the last 5 years, last 3 years, than the Jets have created in my lifetime, infinitely more, because the Jets have won 0, what can you do? What access is available to you in a space where there's not equal talent and skill, basically, in the world of business? What's available for you is ridiculous in how much more you can create than others, than what you're creating yourself, where people don't have that level playing field. Like every day, the Jets, whose season just ended, are living in the same dynamic, doing the same things as everybody else. They're watching film, they're breaking things down, they're applying mathematical formulas for how they're creating draft picks, but they're getting crushed and destroyed year in and year out by what the Patriots are doing, all thinking they're using the same formula, the same technology. And it's because the tiniest micro distinctions where everybody thinks they're doing the same stuff. They think they look the same, right? Like they throw the football, they look awesome, they're in phenomenal shape, like their fans assemble, the energy, they play the same songs, they do all the same things, but have such massive disparity. That's what this is about in Unblinded. It's how do we win massively and exponentially more than other beautiful, kind, and caring souls who are just not following a formula, who are just not engaged in the micro distinctions, who look the same, who sound the same, who have the same level of intelligence, same emotional intelligence, but just are not winning Super Bowls and championships. We are here to win Super Bowls and championships, to celebrate together and invite more people, because the beautiful thing about the business world is it's not the NFL. Everybody can win at massively higher levels. Everybody can win Super Bowls, not just one person, but most people never will come close. And we're here to change that. So in this Ecosystem Merger and Mastery Monday, I thank you for being here. I know for many, it's a holiday time period in your life. I hope everything is beautiful and blessed. And it's time to like throw that flag in the ground, Zeus energy, commit at the highest level to co-create the dreams and breakthroughs you want for 2020 and begin that acceleration now. Get out there, invite people, build your ecosystems around you for 2020 and begin that acceleration. Give, contribute, share, but also receive. Thanks. I'm Sean Callaghy. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Woo! Thanks, everybody. See you out there.
Have a great day, everyone.
Fox, let's connect.
Have a great start of your week, everyone.